Hey everyone, this is Benjamin here from the African Geek, and you are welcome to this fantastic tutorial inside of Canva. Today we are going to be designing a very cool flyer inside of Canva, and what you see on my screen is what we are going to be creating today. So if this is something you want to learn how to create, then stay tuned and I will be right back after the intro. Alright, here we are in Canva, and you can see I already have my canvas opened already, and I believe you also have yours open. Today I'm using the A4 dimension, so to be able to use the same, you can just come to create a design and just search for flyer. Okay, so when you can search for flyer or A4, they have the same dimensions, and once you do that, it should open a blank canvas for you. And another thing I want you to know is there's a link in the description box that will lead you to a Google Drive, and you can find this lady over there. Okay, she'll be waiting patiently for you. I actually told her to wait. That's just by the way. So I believe by now you have her imported in Canva. So if you already have her imported, then what we're going to do is you first of all center her. Okay, and you can also increase the size a little bit according to how you want it to look on your design. Okay, so I will center here like this, and the next thing I'm going to do is to come into photos, and in photos you search for city. Okay, and once you do that, you see there are so many images we have over here, and you can basically choose anyone at all you want, and it should just match the mood. So I will choose this particular photo over here. Okay, and I would also increase the size of this photo. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is to right click on the photo and click send to back. So when you do that, it should be something like this. Okay, and you can increase the photo more according to your need. Okay, so I will leave mine to be something like this, and the next thing I'm going to do is to jump into elements. Okay, and in elements we're going to search for gradients. Okay, now what happened? Okay, so I just search for gradient, as you can see over here, and normally the default section would be in the all section, but we would rather want to go into the graphics. Okay, and in the graphics, there are several options we have, but we are going to look for the circular element, which is also a gradient. Okay, so we just have to be scrolling. Okay, we have this one over here, and we also have this one over here. So I select the blue one, and it should be added nicely. Okay, so I'll increase the size, and okay, position it here. Okay, so I also center the shape over here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to add my text and stuff like that. Okay, but before we do that, let's do this. We are going to add a second gradient, but this time around it's not going to be the circular one, is going to be a rectangular one. Yeah, so I will select this one, but you can choose any of the gradient at all you want. Just make sure it's able to cover the photo you have behind. Okay, so I position it here and I drag it, okay, so that it covers what I have right there. Nice one. Then what I'll do is right click and send it to backward. I click again, backward. Yeah, and it should be right on top of our image. So we can change colors. Okay, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky when it comes to gradient. Let me just go in first. You'd want to make sure the colors you are using are next to each other, because gradients are like a transition from one color to the other. So if these colors are very far from each other, it gets to look very funny. Okay, so you can see I have red over here, and I have this is taking the purple from here. Okay, that's the default color which was already there, and you can see because purple is also close to red over here, it's very easy and it's a nice transition. But with this, I am going to use an orange, or I can use a yellow depending on the mood you want to go for, and have in mind that the mood would also determine what you want. Or I can still just stick to purple. Alright, and maybe it should be on purple for now. After you do that, come into transparency and reduce the transparency to somewhere like 50, or you can go down to 40. Okay, so this is what we have at the moment, and we are going to apply the same thing on this gradient. So come here. The first one was the red, and the second one was this purple we have over here. Right, that's beautiful. Okay, so now I just want to make sure everything here it's aligned perfectly. You understand? So this is looking very clean. Come into text, okay, and in text you can choose any text or any font type you want, okay, and I'm going to choose add a heading, okay. So when I choose it, I should see this on my screen, and you should also see the same on your screen. So click, and you can put any title at all you want. So I can just put beauty. Okay, so beauty. um I don't know what I'm writing, but let me just put this as if I wanted to write. I don't know if the spelling is correct, but don't charge me for that. Okay, so then I come into, okay, you just have to click here, the typeface section, and it should bring you to this section where you can see so many fonts. So I'm going to search for League, okay, League Spartan. I believe that will be a very cool font for this, so I'm going to choose that, and because of how bold it looks. So yeah, this is how it's looking, and I'll come to spacing, and I reduce my line spacing to somewhere like 0.89. okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is come into colors and change the colors to white. Okay, now that you have that, just try to resize your text, okay, beautifully inside of your circle, or of your gradient, yeah, circle. Okay, I feel I should increase the spacing, so I just come here and I increase the spacing a little bit more. Alright, this is okay, and I press L on my keyboard for line, come into the weight section, and I reduce my line to 2. Okay, and I can also now position it somewhere here. So click on one point of your line and press Alt and drag. Okay, so it should drag beautifully. Okay, then you also center this line, nice one. Then maybe we can add some extra text, which can be maybe some extra information, or it can also be some dates and some things like that. Okay, so we can have for now I'll just want to put, let's say, some dates. So I can put, let's say, Sunday 23rd July 2021. Okay, so I select all. Okay, I can see my July is looking weird right now, and I can decrease the size. So I click on one end of one of the corners, and I just press Alt. Okay, yeah, so that it reduces the whole thing for me nicely. Okay, and I just stick to all caps. Okay, so this is what we have, and one thing is you can use another font if you want. And what I mean by another font is, let's say I can come here and choose Montserrat, okay, or I can choose one of my favorite font, which is Quicksand. Let me just go with Quicksand these days. Okay, so I just go with Quicksand, and it should load and change all of this for me. And Quicksand is also a lighter font, okay, because you can see this is very bold. So maybe let me retype this. So Sunday 25th July, JULY 2021. okay, and I position it here. Then what I can do is I can just duplicate this and bring it to the bottom over here. Then let's say the date, no, not the date, but the time. Let's say is 10 00 AM GMT. Okay, so I believe you are getting the whole idea behind this. So now let's select everything we have over here and center. Okay, just try to center this nice one. Okay, so this is what we have at the moment, and we'll add some more things later on. I think let's just do that now. Now the next thing we're going to do is to come to element, and in elements just search for shapes. Okay, and over there we are just going to pick a random square. Okay, just pick a square shape. Okay, then we make it smaller. Okay, then I can just position it here and rotate it to somewhere like 52. Okay, so this is 52, and I can just make a long, and with this we are going to be positioning it randomly. Okay, so duplicate, and I can also position this one here, and this one can also be here, and I can duplicate this one, move it to the top. Okay, and we can also randomize the entire you can just randomize the thickness of it. Yeah, the thickness of our shape. Okay, nice. Okay, just duplicate and move it down. Then I'll bring this lady, no, let me rather send this to the back. Okay, behind her. Okay, so this is for now. We just want this to be here for now. It's not the final thing. Okay, so now I want us to pay attention to what we're going to do next. The next thing we are going to add is these clouds we always use. Okay, and I'm sure if you always watch my tutorials, I get to use this particular cloud. So I go into uploads, and you can also find them in the same link. Okay, with the link I mentioned earlier, which will lead you to a Google form, and in there you will see a folder called aeroplanes and clouds. So you should go in there and find this cloud I'm going to use. Okay, so yeah, let me just scroll down and search for my clouds. Alright, so these are the clouds I was talking about. So I am just going to select the first one, and it should be here, but you can see that it's looking, you can see a little bit of gray and all of that in it, but this time around we want to keep it all white. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'll come into effects, and after you click on effect we come to duotone, and like we always do, you double click on any of the options we have over there. The highlight we are going to choose white. Okay, and the shadows we are also going to choose white. After you've done that, click on apply. Okay, and so this is what we are going to do. We are going to position our clouds in a way that would make it very interesting. Okay, we're just going to complement our design. So we would start by moving our clouds. Okay, duplicate, rotate. So this is a time where you can just duplicate and be rotating and doing all the things you would love to do with your cloud. Okay, so I will position it here, and I'll duplicate it again and position this one also here. Okay, then duplicate it again. So after you duplicate, you can just move this one up. Okay, and we'll just be duplicating this several times and be positioning them around our photo. Okay, so what we're going to do is after you duplicate it several times, you're just going to position it just around your image. Okay, so what I would do for the sake of this is just to speed up the process. Okay, so after you do that, now what we are going to do is with this image, I'll right click and bring her to the front. Okay, and we would also select our shape over here. Make sure you're not selecting any of the clouds. Okay, so I just select all of it, right click, and also bring this to the front. Okay, so now we have something like this, and we are not done yet. What we are going to do now is to, with these shapes, we are also going to bring them to the front. All right. Okay, so if you click any of, let's say in terms of selecting, if you select any of these clouds, just hold shift and click them away. Okay, so you can just hold shift and click the clouds away. Okay, so that it deselects the clouds. Okay, so just make sure. Okay, nice one. Then I right click on this and also bring it to the front. You can see. Then we have to do the same for this. Now in this case we have to select these shapes behind, so we press Ctrl while we click. Okay, so keep clicking. Okay, then come to position and hit to front. Alright, then you're going to do the same for this one also over here. So press Ctrl and keep clicking till you select the shape. Okay, it looks like okay. Now we have it. Then we bring it to the front. All right. So I now send this behind the lady. Okay, so I send this behind the lady, and I'm just going to reduce the transparency to somewhere like let's say 15. Okay, so 15 is not visible at all, so we'll do 20. Okay, then we can select this one and also make it something like 40. Right, okay, so I'll keep it selected and I'll just drag it more that it goes behind this lady over here. Okay, then we can have this one also. In fact, just select all three of them. Select all three. Okay, it looks like there's nothing we can do than to keep selecting the clouds. Okay, so I hold shift and click on my clouds. Okay, then I come into transparency and I reduce it to 50. If it's too much for me or if it's too much for you, you can also just make it 40. Okay, then I click on this and drag it. Okay, so I can just drag this one also, make it very long. Okay, so you can see it depends on what you want to do. So it depends on what you want to do, and like with this one also, I can also just pull it, okay, and leave it here and just send it backward so it goes behind the lady. And with this I can also send this one maybe behind the clouds if it's something I just we just want to be creative. Okay, so I'll just send this behind the clouds and it looks this how it looks, but you can see the clouds is just coming on top, so I can just move it up a little bit so that it vanishes inside. Then select this, increase the size a little bit, and yeah, we have something like this, but we are not done yet. I know we are getting there. So what we are going to do is to select any of these clouds, duplicate them and drop them down here. Alright, so rotate it in a way that it wouldn't be covering your information too much, because we also want it to look like the circle is fading off a little bit. Okay, yeah, so you're going to be using the clouds to achieve that. Okay, and for some reason I don't know, but for some reason my Canva is really acting very slow, and you may not believe it, but this is like the 4th time I'm trying to record this tutorial. It was running so slow. Meanwhile, every other app is running so smooth on my computer, and I just don't know why Canva is acting up today. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't want me to present this. I don't know. Okay, so it was something like this. This is just an idea. Okay, so we can make it bigger. Okay, then maybe send it up a little bit. Okay, so you can see what we are doing. So yeah, it can also look like this. And let's say we are inviting some people, maybe featuring some artists or people like that. We can also mention their name. So what we can do is I will move this cloud to this side. Okay, so I move the clouds to this side a little bit and I rotate it. Okay, and now that we have it this way, what we can do is to select our text and bring it down a little bit, and you can see when it begins to come down we get to lose the legibility. So I can just click here and choose one of these one of these colors, not shapes. Okay, so I can choose any of these colors, or I can still make it white, come to effect and choose the shadow, and in the shadow we can have any of any dark color, okay, as a shadow. So that's something you can also do. But if it's still not working, you can just go ahead and choose a black color, because there are some colors, or just pick colors from this. So I can just say over here that featuring. Okay, so you can see how Canva messes up with me every time. Okay, so select or come to spacing, and in spacing become the letter spacing, and we can increase it a little bit. Okay, and I can also reduce the size a little bit, and yes, click away first. Okay, so just click away and drop it down. Okay, so I'm using my arrow keys because I want to make sure this isn't messing up. Now what I'm going to do is to click on the beauty, duplicate it, and I can put any name, featuring maybe music. Okay, so I have to use all caps, so I'll say music, MUSIK. Okay, dolphins, DOLPHINS. Okay, select or reduce the size, and pardon me. Okay, pardon me, Canva is just going so slow. I'm just trying to move things slowly so that it doesn't mess up the whole thing, okay, or the beauty of what we've been doing so far. And I just change colors of this music dolphins. Okay, now the next thing you can do is to add locations and the website and all of these down there. And for the sake of how my Canva is messing up, I just don't want to drag this tutorial to be so long, so I will leave it here. And you can just complete this by adding the location, your website, and add anything you want to add at the bottom. But for now, this is what I wanted to teach you, and I hope you had fun. Sorry about the inconvenience, and the name is Benjamin, and I will see you in my next video.